A massive thank you to Neo, Dylan, Rickers, Alan and Kania for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 15 of our F1 22 My Team Career Mode. This time round, we're here at the Dutch Grand Prix from Zandvoort. Of course, yeah, we did Formula 2 at the Dutch Grand Prix over the weekend. If you missed out on those videos, I would highly recommend going back and checking them out. The Formula 2 series has got quite a spicy championship campaign going on that I'd hate for any of you to miss, but of course there is still a very, very spicy campaign going on in the My Team series as well. All three, actually, of our career modes at the moment are absolutely just full to the brim with spice. But yeah, of course there will be spoilers in just a moment, so this is your warning. If you missed out on the Belgian Grand Prix, that race was phenomenal as well. One of the best races I think we've had just on this game outright when it comes to drama late on in the day. I would highly recommend going back and checking it out as well. But yeah, championship standings though, there's a 39-point gap between myself and George Russell with 8 races left to go of the year, so it is going to still take a massive push from myself there if we want to try and get close to George Russell by the end of the year. But as well, you know, if you're new around here and you're not already subscribed, we're getting very close now to 100k. I know January is always a really quiet month here on F1 YouTube, but I'm still going to be making daily videos, so if you do go on to enjoy, it would be greatly appreciated as well there. But yeah, let's get into it though. Dutch Grand Prix time. Let's hopefully have another good weekend and try to take more points out of George. Right, we're jumping in then to free practice here from Zandvoort. I just wanted to quickly mention as well, of course, the replay cameras that we've been using in recent videos. You know, I am reading all the comments about it. I am genuinely really interested to see sort of your guys' points of views with those things. I am still implementing them. I'm going to be trying a few different things, so, you know, it is all still experimenting and learning at the moment. You know, I really do think, looking back over the Belgian GP last weekend, that was really when those replay cameras did work really well, so I was a fan of that. But of course, yeah, you know, I'm learning how to edit them in, how to use them effectively and things like that, so I do genuinely appreciate all of you sort of leaving comments and feedback and things like that. They will be staying. I feel like they do add to the experience, but I'm just making sure they add to the experience in a positive way as well. But yeah, jumping into practice though here from the Dutch Grand Prix, I'm not expecting much R&D. We all know the stories of the AI round here. As we round through the final corner to finish off our ERS program, we're going to be over a second away. We're just about there, going to bring it still in the purple, but yeah, we're not going to get anywhere near that. It's struggling a little bit with front locking into turn 1 there, just as the track falls away slightly. Oh, that being said, though, second time round, we're going to get a whole lot closer to the target, but still 3/10 away. Yeah, we're not quite going to be able to get some points there. Right, let's see if we can pick up some points then in the tyre wear program. I mean, really, we're just more focused on what the pace is going to be like in comparison to George. All these programs nowadays are pretty pointless. Around in the final corner then to finish off my tyre wear run. We're only just going to clutch up a green score there as well. It felt like I was basically trying to do a qualifying lap, just to make sure we stayed under the delta, but we are going to get some R&D then from free practice. Let's move into qualifying. I'll round it through the final corner then to finish off my Q2 run. This is going to be a mid to low 109 there. That puts us fastest, but I am a bit worried about George Russell. He was down in the drop zone early on and he never went quicker than me. Is George Russell out in Q2 here at Zandvoort? I don't often show second qualifying, and let's just wait and see. Yes! George Russell, P13 at the end of qualifying there, slower than Dan Ticktum and Yuki Tsunoda, and he doesn't make it through there. I think that might well be the first time this year that George Russell out before we get into Q3, and that's given us a lifeline. It's given us a massive chance here at the Dutch Grand Prix to take some big points out of him. Now we've just got to try and put it on pole. Well, Q3 might be a little bit easier than in recent times, but what has happened to Mr. Saturday ever since, what, Baku, I think? He just hasn't been able to get qualifying laps in anymore. I don't know what's going on with George Russell, but he's going to have a long afternoon ahead of him tomorrow. We're going to go out for our first run, then cross over the line with just over 7 minutes left on the clock. If we get this one nailed, we might only have to do one run here in Q3, but we're going to be needing another low 109. That last lap was pretty good, so if I could match that, I'd be incredibly happy. turn then. Let's wait and see what the time's going to be as we get up to the line. Hasn't felt as good. It's a 109.1, but it's still not fast. It's Bottas. I must have completely missed that. Has done a 109 flat. We're going to have to go for a final run then. It's me versus our old title rival. Oh no, I think I might have left it too late to go for our final run here in Q3. Doesn't look like anyone else has come out onto the circuit apart from one of the Alpines. But we've left it too late. We didn't have enough time to get back in and back out. And there we go. It is only going to be P2 then. What an anticlimactic end. That's 2 qualifyings in a row as well, isn't it? That have ended in very weird fashion. But we are P2 on the grid for the Dutch Grand Prix. But that was not quite where I wanted to be.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who'll be fronting the grid. Bottas, Mr. Monaco, and Sergio Perez. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
If you were watching the F2 career mode at the weekend, you'll know our big rival there, Felipe Drugovich, had a nightmare qualifying session that gave us a chance to leapfrog him and take a big lead in the championship before we head to Monza and Abu Dhabi. Of course, we've got a few more races before then, and we can't take the lead of the championship this weekend here at Zandvoort, but we have got a golden opportunity to really cut down George Russell's advantage. Let's get into it. Dutch GP time.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside in races across Europe. Here this weekend, it's even easier to find the Dutch fans as they have a race to call their own once again. A warm welcome to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe, of course, as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. A lap of this short 2.6 mile Zandvoort circuit features 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with a 678 metre main straight heading into turn 1, Tarzan Corner. And on that straight with DRS open, that'll be the best overtaking opportunity on this track. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Mr. Monaco completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Norris, Esteban Ocon, and Théo Pourchaire, Gasly, Joe, Ricciardo, and Yuki Tsunoda, Tictum, Russell, Charles Leclerc, and Oscar Piastri, Schwartzman, Mick Schumacher, Kevin Magnussen, and Alex Albon, Daruvala, Latifi, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Drugovich and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Natalie Pinkham. Thanks for joining us, Natalie. And tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, well, they'll be the ones that are better off.
Right, well, here we are then, trackside for the Dutch Grand Prix, and Natalie Pinkham there apparently worried about the tyres, but look at that, soft to medium is viable around the Dutch Grand Prix. I'm well aware, every weekend it does surprise me, the bizarre strategies and how far we're able to take the tyres now on F122, but that is just absolutely insane. But starting on the inside for turn 1, on the front row, again, just like yesterday in the F2 career mode. I'm giving you so many reasons to go check it out if you haven't there. But Bottas alongside us, our old title rival. Are we now going to be able to take some big points out of George Russell? This, Codemasters, EA, if you're out there, if you're watching this, if I get an engine failure here, it's GG's. It's game over. This is the big chance to take some points there. Looks like everyone is starting, though, on the softs. So, yeah, strategy is going to be soft, medium, or soft, hard for most cars. But we have just got to try and survive lap 1 and then apply pressure to Valtteri Bottas. We're heading off the banking then, about to line up on the grid for the Dutch Grand Prix. This is championship defining stuff here from Zandvoort. It hasn't often delivered a good race in real life, but on F122 it can certainly put on a show. Let's wait and see what's going to be possible then here as we head towards the start-finish line. Just make sure we line up nice and tidy there. 0.1. That's how important getting a good start here is today. As we wait on those Haas and Aston Martins at the rear of the field. I mean, we've still got the likes of Norris and Ocon not far behind either. Could Red Bull potentially try and trade in a victory this weekend? No Dutch GP driver on the grid, but 5 red lights here at Zandvoort. And it's lights out, and away we go. And rather predictably there, oh, we've had a stinker. Even bad by my standards as we head down towards turn 1. We are going to be able to stay on the inside of Pierre Gasly there, but he's going to be able to get the throttle down on the exit of the first corner. And of course, we've got to be so careful that I don't lose the front wing, because any advantage we did have over George could go away in an instant there. Oh, again, Gasly just closes the door as we head out of the banking there. But Perez then up to P2. Valtteri Bottas still leading the way, of course. After that first win at the Hungaroring a couple of weekends ago, he could have won the Belgian Grand Prix as well before he had an engine failure from the lead. So Valtteri Bottas is well and truly back after McLaren's torrid start to this campaign. But as we wind our way then through the middle sector on the opening lap, Mark Yep is telling me we need to focus, settle down. Of course, terrible start, but Mark should be used to those by now. With myself on F122, I desperately need to try and get some new pedals. That's the big problem as to why I'm terrible on the launches. But as we head our way through the final sector, Bottas still leads the way then. Checo Perez under some pressure already from Esteban Ocon in his Alpine, as Lando Norris had a Pierre Gasly, myself, Ricardo Porcher, and then I think George Russell's already up to 10th by the end of lap 1. So George Russell trying to apply pressure to Zhou Guanyu. He might even be ahead of Zhou Guanyu actually. Looking on the mini-map there as we get back down towards turn 1 there, they're still battling, but I think George Russell, yep, he's up to 9th. So a mega start from George then. He's done everything he could have asked for. Well, let's ride on board then with George Russell as we line up on the grid for the Dutch Grand Prix and see how our teammate made all those places. 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out and away we go. They're initially not a great getaway for George Russell as we head down towards turn 1. You can see the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc gets around the outside there, but up the inside of Charlie goes. Then Dan Ticktum, of course, the Alfa Romeo shouldn't really be a big threat for the 2-2 Motorsport cars. There's George Russell, and then look at that, straight up the inside of Yuki Tsunoda as well. A brave and opportunistic move on the Alpha Tauri car, but he should be able to get it done around the outside there. So George Russell now already about to try and make it 2 places gain there, still side by side. Yuki Tsunoda, we know just how brave he can be early on in a GP there, but able to hook it up, get the car to the inside there of the Alpha Tauri there. And George Russell, 2 places gained straight off the line. And as he rounds out of the banking, though, to complete lap 1, he's going to be all over the back of Zhou Guanyu. So, yeah, I mean, he has overtaken cars that were on the medium tyres, but to the outside of Zhou Guanyu, in towards the first corner. There actually a tiny bit of contact between Zhou and George, but George Russell makes it up into P9 then by the end of lap 1. Well, we'll definitely need to start trying to work way around Pierre Gasly then in this GP, but of course we're running such high wings around Zandvoort there. You can see Pierre in that Merc still able just to pull away slightly as we head out of the final corner there. We're still getting a bit of front lock in there. There's a bump as you go in towards turn 1, but are we now going to be able to potentially swoop past Pierre Gasly as we head down into the banking? Of course, the AI like to stay nice and low. We can use the camber to our advantage. We're going to be drag racing as we head up the hill there. Myself and Pierre Gasly there, Mercedes versus 212, the battle of the silver cars. He's still not giving up though. Pierre Gasly, we're just about going to squeeze him out as we head through the next sort of banked corner there. And fair play to Pierre, never willing to back out of that until he absolutely had to. But we're back up to P5. Checo Perez is definitely causing a bit of a train at the moment, as Bottas, a bit like he did at Hungary, is just pulling away early on. Looks like Russell is still in P9 there, but he's now trying to apply pressure to my old teammate, Teo Porcher. So now all over the back of Lando Norris. We've definitely got a lot of pace through the middle sector, as despite making that overtake, still almost set a new personal best for the day. But as we start now 5X City Alpine, kicking the back end out slightly there through turn 1 as he tries to put the power down. Are we going to be able to do what we did to Pierre? We may as well try and push the envelope and see if we can swoop there, but Lando Norris wise to it, able to get on the throttle early enough that time. Surely we can move back past our fellow Brit there. Had plenty of good battles with Lando Norris this year, most notably the British Grand Prix, but often, to be fair, he has got the better of us. 3-time winner this season, of course, Lando Norris. It is really through the stadium section I'm noticing we're gaining the most on this Alpine car there, as again, when we don't have enough top end speed, we definitely aren't going to be making moves on the run back down towards turn 1 there. But if we can sit close, actually, you know what, I could have probably got a move done to the inside there through the first corner, and we just panicked and locked up slightly because he broke earlier than I was expecting. We again just try and fill his mirrors. It's just a case of trying to throw the AI off rather than actually completing the move. Oh, Lando Norris that time round gets a big wobble as he went through turn 2 there, and this time we're going to be able to get the switch as we head up the hill, but no, the Alpine again has just got enough straight line speed there that Lando Norris can just skim in front of me as we head up the hill, and that is so frustrating already. I mean, we're still really pushing Lando Norris into the back of his teammate Esteban Ocon, so there is some pressure down at Alpine about what to do. You can see both those Alpine cars moving around quite a lot just in front of me. Quite a lot of this lap there. Are we now going to be able to get a run on Lando Norris? This isn't, again, very often an overtaking place, but might be able to have a look to the inside there. Up the inside we'll go then of Lando, and there we are. Into P4 once more then of the GP. There have been such little movement after the opening lap there, but we are still proving that you can overtake around the Dutch Grand Prix circuit. Next up, Esteban Ocon, who again is just inside the DRS range of Sergio Perez, but I can't help but feel we are definitely still getting held up by these cars. Bottas just inching away, but I feel like I've more than got the pace to match the Finnish driver here. As you can see, Ocon again, he's really struggling. I think that's why Lando Norris ended up under so much pressure from myself. Can we try and pull off 2 Alpines in a lap? No, in a word, unless we can get another good run up the hill. We're going to keep trying on Esteban Ocon, but again, the Frenchman, that Alpine car really does take off. Again, Ocon seems to be spending a lot of time looking in his mirrors. Oh, that little wobble there. If I hadn't have had that, we could have potentially tried to send it to the outside of the Frenchman again. But yeah, Ocon's spending a lot of time looking in his mirrors. He's just hanging on inside the 1 second zone of Checo Perez. But if we can just get one more tiny mistake out of him, he might then be quite vulnerable. Oh, Ocon again. Oh, nowhere to go as we head through the banking. But this time around, we might be able to get a run as we head back down towards turn 1. Look at the way the Alpine was just able to pull away. We'll force him defensive, or go late on the brakes down the outside in towards the first corner here. The banking will hug us in and we'll get the room. And Esteban Ocon, we've seen how much he struggled off that corner. Turn 1 so many times early on in this GP. We have been able to capitalise. We are back up into P3 then of the GP. The team want me to pit quite soon, but I'm tempted just to take these softs a little bit longer in this Grand Prix. But Perez now got no DRS to defend himself. Surely this one might be the easiest move of the lot. But as we get to 1/3 distance then in this GP, I think we're going to start seeing some cars box at the end of this lap, but I certainly want to take our tyres a little bit further. George Russell will probably pit at the end of lap 13, but yeah, both 2 and 2 Motorsport cars, they're stuck behind both Red Bulls, and honestly, I feel like there's definitely the chance for an overcut here. Bottas will stay out another one then, so it might be Zhou Guanyu first of the McLarens into the pit lane. Clearly Bottas feeling quite confident out in front, but now, oh no, the tyre wear warning lights come on. So we might start to struggle a bit. I've got to try and keep these tyres in good shape for 2 more laps. There we go, Bottas into the pit lane as well, so we are going to take the lead of the Grand Prix, but clearly a couple of other cars are going to have to go 1 lap extra as well. Yeah, this is starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. George Russell into the pits as well there, so at least we haven't been screwed in that regard. But Zhou Guanyu was actually on mediums, so he might be trying to go the other way, all not confident in his tyre life. But we did take some time out of Bottas, but now we've got to monitor the gap, and I won't get a chance to because of Dan Tickton. Thanks for that, mate. I almost forgot to pit then as well. That wouldn't have been good as we head through the final couple of turns. Let's get this car nicely slowed down, and on the way into the box need to be aggressive on pit entry, but not too aggressive. There we go. That was pretty much as I would hope it to be there. But Zhou Guanyu then, I think he's led Formula 1 Grand Prix in the past. I'm pretty certain he has. His teammate, of course, is a 2-time world champion, so I'd expect him to. But where are we going to come out then in comparison to Valtteri and, more importantly, Checo Perez? Then very tidy stop. Got to try and get some temperature in the rubber. There's Bottas back into the lead of the Grand Prix, but we have got the jump on Checo then by the looks of it. And yeah, look at that Checo Perez. We've even got Oscar Piastri and the AlphaTauri between us. Got to try and get some temperature back in the tyres, but lap 15 of 36, it is now myself versus Bottas. Look at that, yeah, we took a second out of Bottas as well. I think that was actually a very good strategy call. Oh, there we go, Perez has got by Oscar Piastri in this GP. Whether that was a Oscar, it's a Red Bull behind you, or whether Checo's been able to pull off the move. Now we might be under a little bit more pressure from the Mexican again. But, yeah, the gap to Bottas is coming down. We certainly haven't got the dominant car we had early on this year, but we have still, on more weekends than not, still got the quickest car. There we go, new fastest lap of the day. Bottas, you better be seeing that. Thanks, Mark. More worried about the car in front than the car behind, but as Bottas now gets up to the gearbox of Yuki Tsunoda, no blue flags or anything like that there. Yuki Tsunoda might play into our hands a bit. Oh, look at this. Bottas is getting held up behind the AlphaTauri as well. This works perfectly for us. You can see there we took, what, good half a second out of him just through those couple of corners, so Tsunoda is definitely struggling, but he's given me a lifeline as we get towards the halfway stage in this GP. When are we going to see the AlphaTauri into the pits? Right now, Tsunoda wants nothing to do with this battle for what is effectively the race lead here. We go fastest again then, improving once more, but Bottas that time around had some DRS to defend himself with. Will the McLaren be able to fight on? We haven't really had many wheel-to-wheel battles this year with Valtteri, as we took way too much curb through turn 2. Surely this one could be a battle for the ages. Bottas now with no DRS, though. He's going to try and go defensive on me. No, he doesn't believe we're close enough, and I think he might have sussed that one out pretty perfectly there. Not quite able to get the run on the McLaren. Of course, currently McLaren 1-2 in this GP, but surely Zhou Guanyu is going to be peeling into the pit lane sooner rather than later there, as Bottas way too much curb through the penultimate corner. Zhou Guanyu is into the pit lane, so are we going to be able to get a run on the McLaren as we head back down towards turn 1? Bottas sees us there. He's going to go defensive to the outside, late on the brakes, but Bottas actually runs us wide in towards turn 1. We've got no option but to back out of that one. We'll see if we can do anything in towards turn 3. It's been one of my favoured overtaking places all weekend long there, and that time around Bottas again able to get the power down, but we're going to be side by side just about. Whoa, as we head up the hill there, got completely squeezed out over the curb in there. I felt the front end of the car lift up for just a moment, and where's this Bottas in real life? That was some hard on the limit defending from Valtteri there. I was so worried about getting spun out. He's well aware I've got much more to lose today than him, so he can try and throw everything at this, but surely we're going to be able to find a way around in there. As you can see, out of position right the way through the middle sector there. He's going to have to go defensive this time round as we head into the stadium section there, and we still cannot find a way around in there. Big lock-up as we head through the braking zone, but we'll try and put the power down on the exit of the penultimate corner, and again, just not quite able to get the car where I need it. But Bottas again, desperate to try and keep hold of his lead here, wants to try and get his second win of the year, and his second, of course, in pre-Grand Prix. Looks like George Russell is now up into 7th place of this race as well, so our teammates still got to be careful of him there. As contact between myself and Bottas through turn 1 there, very, very slow off the corner was the flying Finn. Again through turn 3, no, not that time, nothing was going to work there. Oh, come on then, Valtteri Bottas, let's see again, lap 21 of 36 of this Dutch GP. Are we going to be able to get closer? We got yellow flags out, someone's got an issue. Oh, it's Esteban Ocon. Further back there, it would appear to be a power unit failure for the Alpine car. What has happened to the Frenchman? And let's have a look then. Esteban Ocon, does the engine just go puff as he heads out of the final corner? You can see in the Alpine, yep, right in his teammate's face there, and Ocon left crawling back over the start-finish line there as we head on to lap 21 of this GP. Car's having to go round in there as he tries to get to the outside of the circuit, but we've seen so many mechanical failures this year, and the Alpine just joins in there. He's going to stop off at the outside of turn 1 and gets out of the way of all the other cars. Again though, Bottas not able to get the car position where he needs it as we head into the DRS zone in Sector 2. Again to the outside of the McLaren car, and this time around he does give me the room, but I get wedged on the curb in there. So delicate on the throttle when you do that. Oh, wheel-to-wheel contact between myself and Bottas. Look how defensively the McLaren's trying to go there. Parks the bus through the final couple of turns, and now we've got nowhere to go, and more worryingly, we've got yellow flags out still, of course, from Ocon's car, so we're not even going to be able to do anything as we head back down towards turn 1 there. Bottas, why haven't they got rid of that car just yet? Sorry, Ocon even, I should say. Why haven't they got rid of that car just yet? As you can see, Bottas trying to put the throttle down out of the first couple of turns. We really have not had many battles with Bottas in F1 22, even when we were having a championship battle with the flying Finn there. But as we wind our way back up the hill once more, again, that McLaren's just got enough, and I've got to try and make a move as we're starting to run out of ERS. Oh, whoa, how on earth, what? Okay, round the outside of Valtteri Bottas will go then. through the middle sector. He's still going to be on the outside. So we head into the next braking zone there, and we've got to give him room. It's good, clean racing respect between myself and the McLaren car there. But somehow, yeah, Bottas kind of wedged himself on the apex through, what's that got to be, turn 7, turn 8? I'm kind of guessing, to be completely honest there. But we're through and into the lead then of the Dutch GP. But Bottas is going to come back at me. So we head down towards turn 1 there. I've got to go defensive from the McLaren. But look at the run! Valtteri Bottas is able to get through turn 1, and he's straight back through. This is a sensational battle. That is not going to do us any favours either. They're just desperate to try and hang close to the McLaren. Car will still be within the DRS, but wedged it over the curbing. And I'm getting worried that Perez and Norris are sensing an opportunity. I said as we lined up on the grid today that Zandvoort doesn't often deliver a great race in real life, but certainly does on F122. And this, once again, has gone and proved it there. Once more, 12 laps to go here at the Dutch GP. We've crossed 2/3 distance. We're going to get a run on Bottas to the inside at turn 1. And a very, very aggressive move there. We had to go through, and Bottas, I think I just saw there in the rearview mirror, got a big, big wobble as he tried, I think, to get the switch back on us. But we're back through into the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix, and this time round we need to try and get out of the DRS range. There's already up to 9 tenths there. 1 second. That's critical. If we can keep that up through the middle sector, which has often been our strongest part of the circuit, Bottas might be in a world of hurt. Look at that, 1.2 seconds. We should hopefully now have done it. Valtteri Bottas is out of the DRS range in this Grand Prix there, so it was quite clear how much the McLaren was pushing just to try and hang on. As we, what a time to go purple through that middle sector there. Absolutely nailed the line through the S-bends, but now we've got to just try and hang on in the final 11 laps here. Don't do anything stupid, just keep it on the island map, and 26 points could be ours. I'm trying to look back. I think this would be our first win since about round 5 of the year. I'm trying to think when our last victory was in the My Team career mode. I'm pretty certain it was Miami. That's how long our win drought has been in this series. I don't think I'm forgetting any in more recent weekends. We have been cursed throughout most of this season. I'm pretty certain it will be Miami, the last time we got a win, which was round 5, round 6 of the campaign. It has been a long, long time. Well, round in the final corner then, lap 30 about to begin from the Dutch Grand Prix, and we are just pulling away from Valtteri Bottas, almost new fastest lap of the day. I'm trying not to really push too hard late on. 10.5 seconds clear of George Russell, who is still stuck behind Teo Porcello. I thought he was ahead of Porcher, so maybe Russell has actually lost the place again to the Frenchman. No, he's still in P7, isn't he? George Russell still hanging around there. So yeah, after a mega lap 1, hasn't made much progress since then, unfortunately, but we've just got to try and bring this car to the flag. I'm in shock that this is going to be our first win since Miami. I'm racking my brains, though. I definitely haven't forgot about one. We've just had such a disastrous season since that strong opening. But today, as long as I don't do anything crazy in the last few laps or get another mechanical failure, should be our day. Okay, there we go. New fastest lap of the day. Like I said, I'm not really pushing particularly hard anymore, but we are just so comfortable. It really has been the first time in a long time I've felt truly at one with this car on F122. Is our championship hope back on track? Come on then, Strulovic and Drogovic, please move out of the way. There goes kind of the Aston Martin. Why are we having to thread the needle around these slower cars there, as Stroll's just mugged Drogovic off by doing that? Stroll's just taken the place of Felipe Drogovic. He might try and do it with JN Arugula as well. No, not that time, but that's how you make an overtake under blue flags then. Fair play, Lance Stroll. Was not expecting that from you. Round in the banking then to start the final lap of this Dutch Grand Prix. What a journey it has been so far this year. Honestly, a couple of races ago, we were down and out, but yeah, this weekend has just given me a bit of renewed hope that the dream is still possible here in Season 4 of the My Team career mode as we wind our way through this final lap. Of course, we look ever since Miami. Spain, I had my Xbox crash. Monaco, we just simply did not have the pace to match George Russell that weekend. I got stuck in traffic a bit further down the order. Baku, that should have been a win, but an engine failure late on in the day cost us in what would have been a very, very comfortable, at least 15-point gap that we would have taken out of George Russell at that point of the campaign there. Round 9 then took us to Canada. Of course, yeah, that weekend just not quite got the pace once more. Silverstone bottled it with a couple of laps to go. Of course, we then didn't race in the Castellet. Well, we got yellow flags up in this final lap. Who's going slowly? No one, apparently. Don't know what that was about. But, yeah, then, of course, the Hungaroring, again, we were just out of position, didn't quite have the pace to match Bottas. And then Spa last weekend, Lando Norris was comfortable at the front. But round in the final corner, here at the Dutch Grand Prix, it's finally going to be our day again. We are once more back on top.
Absolutely fantastic. That is a brilliant, brilliant result. Well done.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here in Zandvoort, but they've done so in spectacular style. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all. This result then narrows the gap between our championship leader and the rest of the standings. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Natalie Pinkham, come on, who do you pick?
Well, there's no question in my mind. It has to go to George Russell. What a performance. He's got every right to be proud of what he accomplished out there today.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Dutch Grand Prix, and I can't believe it, finally, a weight has been lifted off our shoulders, and we are Grand Prix winners once more there. Bottas 3.7 seconds back at the flag. You know, we did a bit of celebrating on that last lap there. But Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly ahead of George Russell there means the gap down by 18 points there. We've practically halved it. We'll have a look at those standings in just one moment there. Pourchaire, both Ferraris, sorry. And then Zhou Guanyu rounds out our top 10 there. You know, McLaren tried a bit of a bold strategy with him, but it didn't quite pay off at the end of the day. And it was just Ocon that didn't see it through to the checkered flag there. Championship-wise, 21. That gap's down to 21. I tell you what, it feels a lot better than 39 points to George Russell there. Lando Norris still in P3 ahead of Perez and Ocon there. And yeah, look at that. Perez jumps Ocon, Leclerc and Pourchaire with that good result there. So there is still a mega battle going on for P4 overall in the championship. Bottas could easily get back within that scrap before the end of the year there. No other movers though further down the rostrum. Constructors wise, we continue to extend the gap at the top. There are 184 points now. We've got now over a 4-race weekend margin, so hopefully it's a case now of when rather than if we are crowned Constructors World Champions. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will be back very soon with more F1 22 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.